y'all. This is Christine Deane, your DFW Networking Diva, connecting you to who you want to know and the resources that you want to know. And I am so excited today because we've got a special guest for you, and I can't wait to share her with you. Now, before I forget, though, let's remind you that our sponsor is My B2B Network. We want to thank them for sponsoring this episode. My B2B Network is a digitalized marketplace that not only helps make outsourcing seamless, but also excels in generating high quality leads. So to find out more, go to myb2bnetwork.com. Thank you for sponsoring us. Now, today's guest, I am so excited. She's brilliant, and I'm just excited to share her with y'all. So we're going to bring her in. And Barbara Anne, welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, everyone.
Yay. Well, so Barbara Anne, you have a ton of letters behind your name. What does all of that mean?
So the only reason those are there is because they appeal to very specific audiences that I work with. But the MSEL stands for Masters of Science in Executive Leadership. The PCC is an International Coaching Federation designation. It means Professional Certified Coach. And the CELC is a Certified Executive Leadership Coach. And actually, that's not all of the initials. Those are just the ones that I actively put on my profile because of the audiences that are looking for someone that has those designations.
Absolutely. That's a lot of experience that you're bringing to the table, and a lot of accreditations, and oh my goodness, right? That's impressive. But what are you really passionate about? What's all that mean? What's it really mean with what you do?
When all is said and done, my passion, my why, my purpose is helping other people connect with theirs. There's a lot of people that have so much to offer, and they haven't quite figured out what it is they want to do or how they can do what it is they're really passionate about. And I figured it out a long time ago, but really about 10 years ago, as I was in grad school, really kind of honed in on it and realized when I was asked to describe myself in 2 words, and I was like, I'm a solutions navigator. I help people, whether I know the answers or I can connect them with someone who knows the answers. I'm really about helping people find their way to the answers that they seek. And hence everything, even my little compass necklace that one of my team members gave me, everything is about helping people find their purpose, which is one of the reasons why the company was named Purpose-Filled Solutions and Evolutions.
I love that. And oh my goodness, you've hit a topic that's just near and dear to my heart. It really is. I see what you're talking about, because so often people aren't quite sure what their direction should be, where they're really feeling passionate. They're not sure. They feel like they see other people. They're like, oh, they know what they want to do. That's awesome. I wish that was me. Right. And sometimes you've got that from a young age. Because I know with my kids, right? My youngest, bless his heart, I didn't know what he was going to do. He was going to do this, he was going to do that. And then, so he was so just not focused on what it was. And finding that passion, I think, makes all the difference in the world, right? So, and I imagine that goes throughout life, right? And it might change.
It does. And yeah, because you can have multiple passions. As you know, I have a show of my own that actually talks about this, What the Why with Barbara Anne. And I talk with diverse leaders about why they do what they do and how they figured it out. And almost across the board, with 2 exceptions, nobody thought what they were going to do as a child would be what they're doing now. And, and we all are the sum total of our experiences. And my experiences in my life has not been an easy one. Although I'd say I'm blessed. I've been through some challenges that no one should ever have to face. But those things also helped me figure out what my purpose was. And that was helping other people also figure out what their purpose is. And what's interesting is when you get up in the morning and you're excited to do what you do, and you're still thinking about it at night in a positive way, it doesn't feel like work because you're living into your purpose. And everyone has one. Just for some people, they need support and encouragement to overcome the fear of change. and move forward with what it is you really care about.
And when you look at the statistics on how many people uh, actually enjoy what they do every day for work, it's scary.
Yeah, recent statistics are really scary. Gallup poll and others have found that, with the exception of the Asian countries, 30% of American and European employees have identified that they're having significant issues with mental health challenges. In Asian countries, it's a quarter, but in the other countries, it's closer to a third. I recently heard a statistic also related to a Gallup poll that the fifth leading cause of death in our country is work-related stress. And
Wow.
what's so fascinating and stunning about that is stress is an internal reaction to an external situation, which means we do have control over how we respond to something. And yet it's literally killing people because they haven't learned the tools to respond instead of react, or they're not pursuing what they're meant to pursue. They're pursuing what they were told to pursue or what they felt like they should pursue, but not what they're really passionate about. And
Oh, I'm going to grab you right there, Barbara. You're talking about how we choose to respond to stress.
yeah,
Respond versus react. Is that what's the phrase you're
yes.
using? Talk a little bit more about that for those of us that hadn't maybe not thought about that before.
So shout out to some of my former grad school mates who might be watching this. They got so sick of me in saying this. A situation or event is just that. No matter how phenomenal or how horrific it might be, it's just an event. It's our response to it that equals the outcome. And, it's interesting. I talk to people as a coach, and they'll say things like, well, I'm in trauma, this, trauma, that. Trauma is an active state. It's not an event. You have people that can go through similar experiences. I just talked to someone who was a member of my team the other day at one point, and twin daughters went through a similar experience, and one is handling it very differently than another. And it was a very traumatic event for them. Everybody responds to things differently. And trauma is what happens to us inside of us in response to an event. It's not the event itself. And so we have a lot of people walking around feeling like, for lack of better words, feeling like Dorothy, like they don't know the way home. But in reality, they do. It's just a matter of finding someone or finding a path forward where they realize that they inside have the answers all along. It's just a matter of finding the courage to move forward into the unknown and into change and let go of things that they've been holding on to for survival purposes that help them feel safe and protected, when in reality, it is the source of the stress in many instances.
Wow. Yeah. Pretty deep, how to navigate all that. And it's not something that we have necessarily been brought up knowing how to handle, right? Trauma happens and good luck with that. I mean, sometimes you get help, sometimes you don't, sometimes you need more help than you got, right? And we end up taking that with us.
Yeah.
Right through life. So it could be something that happened when you're younger, but here you are having issues trying to accomplish what you want to accomplish as an adult, and you're having these roadblocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's all of us. And and it's interesting because as I'm engaging in coaching, and some people are like, well, this is the way I was raised. Well, our parents did the best they could, and they did what they learned, and they did what they learned. The things that we're talking about as a society now weren't discussed 50 or even 25 years ago in some instances. There's whole groups that weren't even comfortable going to therapy because that was considered a weakness. So we're at a very pivotal time in terms of recognizing that there are very important mental health issues that can be addressed in so many different ways. And we have a lot of people walking around in what one of the forms of coaching I use, one of the sets of initials that isn't up there, is doing mental fitness with positive intelligence. And we call it the survival brain. We learn coping mechanisms as we're growing up or in response to events. And but those same things can be the very same things that are holding us back in fear. And so we
Right.
stay there.
What once served us no longer serves us. And we may
Yes.
not even be realized consciously that we're still stuck in that protection mode. And it's
Mhm.
limiting our opportunities because it's limiting our options. We don't even see what's in front of us, right? And sometimes I think that's where you come into play, right?
Yes, it's interesting that you actually did use the word solutions navigators. So there's the solutions navigators in terms of, all of the things that we can help small businesses and individuals through. But then there's the solutions navigator part where we're helping work through the stuff that's keeping them stuck and helping them move from okay to optimal. And so it's both internal and external work. And everything that we do, our consulting services, our unique approach to creating belonging in the workplace, all of that is informed from an internal work and an external work standpoint, because we've got to get our own house in order before we can start helping others or giving our best selves.
And I could see that as a business owner, whatever issues we're dealing with is going to come out in our business, whatever that is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. People are going to be shocked when I say this. I actually don't mind saying it because people are like, you can't be. I'm 55 years old. And so I've been doing this a really long time. And so I've been doing this through, like I've been working in DEI space since before that was even a thing. It was affirmative action. I mean, when my parents got married, it was still illegal in some states for them to even get married as an interracial couple. So I've seen a very big shift over my half century plus on Earth. And we're really just getting to the point where people realize you can't check what's going on in your life at the door, whether that's going into your company or going into your job or just coming home from your job and going to your family. You are a whole person. And so that goes with you as you go forward and interact with others. And the best way to be your best self is to work through whatever could be hindering the positive aspects of those interactions. And that starts with doing the work.
So, what is it like doing the work, to work with you? Take us through that journey. What does that look like?
In terms of an individual coaching, um, I start with an assessment because not everybody's ready for the journey. And it's just where I am in terms of authenticity and ethics. I'm not going to engage someone who's not really ready to make the commitment because they're just going to end up frustrated. Um, for example, I have a couple therapists because coaching's not therapy. Right? So sometimes there's therapists that I will refer people to get to the point where they're ready for coaching. And then when they come to me, a lot of it starts with some very simple questions. What did you want to be? I do this on my show too. What did you want to be when you were growing up? How did you get from there to here? And especially when it comes to professional companies, if money was no object, what would you do with your life? And those three questions are really telling about where people are most passionate. And they're a great foundation for getting to the heart of what the assessment reveals, which is in positive intelligence, it's saboteurs. It's one of my favorite assessments to use. And anybody who wants to go to positiveintelligence.com can actually go and take the assessment for free and find out what your saboteurs are. And to summarize, saboteurs are those coping mechanisms that we developed through different experiences throughout our lives that helped us survive. And they come from a survival brain standpoint. And they did. To your point, they served a purpose. In fact, you used almost the exact same language I used with one of my clients, and I said, "Tell them thank you for your service, and you're no longer needed right now. Stand back." Because she was really struggling, and she was trying to fight them, and they served a purpose, and sometimes they are valuable. And part of what we do at Purpose-Filled Solutions and Evolutions is we take that information and we realize where the same things that helped you survive are the same things that can be getting in the way of holding you back. But when you learn to work with them and through them and realize that, if you are hyper vigilant, vigilance is great. You want to be safe and secure. Hyper vigilant, where you're looking around every corner waiting for somebody to come at you or get you, is not great. But when you use those comparable traits in a positive way, what we call sage mode, they can make you a really great investigator, law enforcement officer, parent. So maybe you are restless and you're trying to juggle so many things. And when it shows up in a saboteur way, it is all consuming, and you're not spending any time with anybody in your family. You're not spending any time with your team that's looking for you for leadership. But when you're using it for sage, you're using it in a positive way, you have the ability to multitask at a level that many other humans, because we're not really designed to multitask. We have this myth about multitasking. But people that have this restless side also have the ability to actually effectively juggle multiple projects. They're some of the best project managers and medical professionals and editors. So for every negative way of having something show up, there's a positive way, and we help them make that connection. And a lot of
So
that
find
involves
those gifts that they have and those skills and talents, and figure out a purpose for them that makes them feel good and makes a contribution to the greater good, we'll say.
yes, exactly. And I love it. The movement itself, and I don't mean to talk about just one of the many things we offer, but positive intelligence was founded as part of a book by Shirzad Shamin, who himself had a very difficult upbringing, and it's kind of grown in more of a movement than as just a form of coaching. Um, and there's micro meditations built in to help reinforce. There's an ongoing community. I When I signed up for the free coaches grant a couple of years ago, I thought this will be a great learning experience. I had no idea the extent that it would take what had already been a 16-year journey and catapult it into the stratosphere in terms of what was possible. And we've had a lot of success, our entire team. So I shout out to my team, Lisa Hillerin, Sarai Romero, and Ariel Rankin. We've all been through the program ourselves. And one of my other team members has also gone on to pursue the coach certification in positive intelligence as well, so that we can accommodate all of the people who would want to learn more about that and participate in that program. But it has truly been life changing. There's nothing in our company that we don't do, that doesn't in some way incorporate helping people work on whatever they're dealing with internally to show up as their best selves in all aspects of their business and lives.
Wow, I'm sure we have only just hit the tip of the iceberg on all the different areas that you can help people. And I'm loving what you have to say. We'll have to have you come back again and share some more wisdoms with us.
I
Oh
would
my
love
goodness. Thank you so much, Barbara. And we're scrolling her website right across the screen right now. If you're listening to this instead of watching it, you want to go to Barbara Ann's website at Purpose Filled. And how do we say the rest of it?
SandE.com. Yes.
SandE.com. There we go.
Yeah, it used to be all spelled out, and people are like, "Oh my goodness, your URL is so long." So if you Google us, you're going to see you'll see Purpose-Filled Solutions and Evolutions.com all spelled out. But in December, We heard what you had to say, so we shortened it to purposefieldsande.com.
I know it's so hard to find something short. I've had the same issue myself, so I totally understand. But, it's worth visiting the website, finding out more about what they're up to, how they might be able to help you or your company, right? What a wonderful resource. I am just so glad that you came on today to share with us, Barbara. Thank you so much.
Oh, me too. It was an honor. I love your energy. You have to come on my show too. And
We're going to have fun.
yes, we'll show swap. But yes, no, I would love to come back because there's so much more. And
There is.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You're just going to be a wealth of knowledge sharing with our audience. I love it. And I look forward to continuing the conversation. Thank you so much for coming to play.
Thank you.
And that's it for another episode of DFW Networking Diva. Get connected with Christine Deane. I love connecting with resources. And oh my goodness, Barbara Ann is a fantastic resource. So if you want to reach out to her, please do. I encourage you because we're all here to help each other and the tide rises all. So let's keep helping each other. Y'all have a fantastic